guys, I'm here to do my top 10 Wednesday. Sorry about last week. Last week was super hectic and I did not do any blogging because I was covering from the Boston Teen Book Festival, but it is October. It is actually October 1st when I'm filming this, and I really love October. I love reading creepy books, and this week's theme is so exciting. If you've been watching any of my videos since about the end of May, you know how much on a witch kick I have been in, thanks to Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 6. If you have not watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 6, I highly recommend it. It's a really good season where witchcraft becomes even more pronounced. But the theme this week is top 5 witch books. I have been buying a lot of witch books recently, but I haven't read all of them. So some of these are books that I have read, and some of these are books that I want to read, like that I desperately want to read that are on my shelves. And I'll do a couple of honorable mentions at the end of it, but these are the books I just had on hand. So the first book I want to talk about is The Dreadful Tale of Prospero Reading by Alexandra Bracken. I actually just won this copy in a giveaway, but I read this in September, and I really enjoyed it. It follows this kid named Prosper, and he is a part of this very, very affluent family. But when he learns that his family's wealth is not generated naturally, he also realized that there is a demon that has been giving his family a leg up throughout society, and now it is inside of him. And he goes on this epic adventure, is sent to live with relatives, where he is trying to figure out how to get this creature out of him. And one of the characters in this is a witch, and they're both it's basically a middle grade novel, but it was really, really fun. I love the setting, I love the characters, I love the elements of witchcraft, and I also love all the unexpected twists and turns in this novel. Alexandra Bracken does that really, really well in anything she writes, but I thought it was especially well done in this. So if you are looking for a creepy book, but also a book that has elements of witchcraft, I highly recommend this book. It was so good, and I read it in like 2 to 3 days, and this cover is just simply stunning. But I highly recommend it. So this is the first book I wanted to recommend for books about witches. Even though she's not the main character, you do get a lot of elements of her. And witchcraft has a very, very important part of this, because witchcraft is how they are going to get this demon out of Prospero. So, yeah. The next book I'm going to talk about is another book that I have read over the summer, and that was Roar by Cora Carmack. I found this book out from Kristen at Book Hype. I don't know why she would be watching this video, but if you're watching this video, Kristen, thank you. She raved about this book, and I actually was able to meet Cora at BookCon, and she signed it for me with my friend Sarah. We waited online together, and I love this book. I think it's probably one of my top 10 books this year that I've read so far. I have not read a magic book in so long, and this was my first foray back into magic books, and I've never read any storm magic books before, and I loved it. I love the world building. I thought the female character that we met was so unique and so different, and her path in the story was not what I was expecting, and I cannot wait for book 2. They just released the cover like a couple of days ago, and it's called Rage. And the cover is so pretty. This cover is stunning as well, and I really, really think it's gorgeous. But I was really impressed with the world building and also the magic system that was developed. But I also just really loved how she crafted that world, and I want to know more about this world. And I really loved how storm magic became a thing, and she was there was storm mages, and then there was guys who were capturing the hearts of storms, and the whole world is really, really spectacular. So if you're looking for kind of a different magic book, I highly recommend this. It's definitely high fantasy, but it really does pack quite a punch, and the ending is kind of shocking. So I highly recommend that you check out Roar by Cora Carmack. If you want definitely a high fantasy read, but also a really unique one. I have never read a book about storm magic, and I really enjoyed it. And again, it was one of my top 5 reads of this year so far. So this book I haven't actually read yet, but I picked it up at the Strand for like $3 because it was the Owl Crate Jr. book for the month of August, I think. It's called The Apprentice Witch by James Nichol. This is also a middle grade novel. I'll read you guys the back because it's kind of short. Erin has flunked her witch assessment. She's doomed, declared an apprentice, and sent to the town of Lull in disgrace. And she may never become a real witch, much to the glee of her arch rival, Gemma. But remote Lull is not as boring as it seems. Strange things are sighted in the woods, a dangerous infestation of hexes creeps throughout the town, and a mysterious magical visitor arrives with his eyes on her. With every spirit banished, creature helped, and spell cast, Starts to get the hang of being a witch, even if she's only an apprentice. But the worst still lies ahead, for a sinister darkness has begun to haunt her spells, and there may just be more at stake than just pride for Arwen and the entire land. That sounds super good, and it is only like just under 300 pages. I definitely hope to read this, if not this month, maybe in November, because I really want to read witch books. I'm such in a mood and such in a kick. A couple on my shelves that I really want to read, but this is definitely high on my list. I'm also getting Owl Crate Jr. this month, and the theme is Witch and Wizards, so whatever that book is, hopefully I'll get to read it in November as well. The next book I'm going to talk about is another book series that I just got recently and I have not read yet, but it is called The Witches of Echo Park by Amber Benson. This is another Buffy connection. I'm sorry, I'm such on a Buffy kick, but this is actually written by the girl who played Tara in Buffy. And she actually has like a lot of books out. This is one series. She has another series out. And I actually didn't know it was her until my friend told me. It was like, oh, this is Amber Benson. She was a Buffy. I'm like, there's no Buffy star that's an author. Turns out I was totally wrong, and she wrote 2 complete witch series. So I'll read you guys the back of this one. When Liz McAllister's great aunt Eleanor, a woman who raised her, becomes deathly ill, Liz puts her comfortable life in Georgia on hold to rush back to Los Angeles. And when she returns to Echo Park, Liz discovers her great aunt has been keeping secrets, extraordinary secrets from her. Not only is Liz heir to Eleanor's Victorian house, but she also expected to take her great aunt's place in Echo Park's coven of witches. But to accept her destiny means to place herself in deadly peril, for the world of magic is under siege, and the battle of witches now fight may be their last. Again, sounds really cool. I hope to read it soon, and I just love that it's written by somebody who played a witch on TV. That's just so spectacular, and I cannot wait to dive into this book as well. And my last book I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do a couple honorable mentions after this, is Born Wicked by Jessica Spotswood. Again, this is a book I have not read yet, but the summary will be in my blog post if you want to go read it. But I'm just going to read you guys the back. Blessed with a gift, cursed with a secret, 3 exceptional sisters, 2 dangerous choices, 1 terrible secret. And not a single person they can trust. The Cahill witches aren't safe, not even from themselves. One thing I like about this book is that it also follows witchcraft, but it also deals with sister dynamics, which I also really enjoy. So I think this is the first book in a trilogy, and I really want to read it again on my shelf. Hope to read it soon, but it sounds really good, and this is the Cahill Witch Chronicles. So, and then a couple of books that I don't have physically, or I do have one physically, but another book I want to talk about, which is a little bit of a lighter read, was The Best Kind of Magic, which is a book that I read, I think, early summer. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It was a really, really fun read. It was witchcraft in a high school, and the lead witch in that was a matchmaker who can see your perfect match or your soulmate with her magic, and I really enjoyed that. And the second book is coming out in February. And this is one that I picked up at my library for 50 cents, and it's Wicked, Witch and Curse by Nancy Holder and Debbie Vanu. And yeah, this is the first 2 books. I also have the other 2 in the back of me, but this is another witch-based novel, which sounds really, really interesting. So those are just some books I wanted to give an honorable mention to. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books that I haven't read, or what were your thoughts about them. I really did love Prospero, Reading, and Roar, and I really hope to read these other books soon, because we are finally getting into fall, and as much as I hate the changing of seasons, I really do like getting in to curl up with a good book under the covers with hot chocolate. So that's the good thing about it getting a little bit colder. But I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!